Next up on stage, the lady who's going to be moderating this is Anna Lucia Hilland, who's a CEO, co-founder and chairperson of Swiss Financial Engineering AG. And Switzerland, she's based in Switzerland. She's an international banker, financial advisor, asset manager, strategic advisor to governments, and a devoted philanthropist. You can't go on stage yet until I get you a round of applause. You haven't seen her yet, okay? She's just... Where's the floor manager? Oh, it's me. Okay. So she's an ex-UBS banker, ex-Julius Baer, ex-Commerce and Metzger Bank, an active speaker to various economic forums worldwide. She's built a reputation as an iron woman. There you go. Is that all the exercise stuff? Or just because you're really hard nut to crack? Is that what it is? Of the international financial markets, as she brings together governments, private and financial investors for major developments of infrastructure projects under diverse development models. She's a polyglot. Does that mean you learn lots of stuff? Is that what polyglot is? Yeah, good, fantastic. I'm clearly not one, so there you are. And she speaks 6 languages. Which is your favorite language? Spanish and German. That's 2 languages. You can only choose one. All the Spanish people and Germans are going, me, she didn't choose me, okay? And she is a world travel expert who's visited 85% of the world. That's amazing. Which is your favorite place? Spain and Germany? No? If you could choose to be anywhere, apart from obviously Davos, because it's heaven on earth, where would you choose? Dubai. Dubai? Amazing, that's where I live, that's fantastic. Be neighbours. Yeah, looking forward to that. Okay, so we're going to start our next panel. It's all about food security. It's got 2 amazing guests, and we're all going to learn a ton, and hopefully the world will be a better place as a direct result. Please put your hands together as we bring on our moderator, Anna Lucia Lind.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you all for having me. It's an honor to be here. It's not an easy evening for me because just 1 month ago I have lost my mom. So I'm sitting here with a bit of everything in mixed feelings, but this has been a therapy to take me out of this sad moment. So having said this, I want to say as a bank and financial advisor, as a strategic advisor to government, I have gone throughout the world to be able to sit here today and discuss the topic that we're going to be discussing, which is food security, and which the world may have taken from the side that it is an Africa problematic. I want to give the opportunity to our panelists to introduce themselves. We have Dr. Gabriel
Andreoli.
Exactly.
I am Professor Andreoli. I am the head of the Institute for Advanced Studies and Cooperation. We work a lot all over Africa, also with many governments. And I'm also in the board of directors of a wonderful company. It's called Regenesis. So we just came out, we announced it here, of one of our best, I think, product, which is non-profit. So we do it really for the community, and it's hit malaria, and it's a quantum dot technology that will get the patient rid of malaria in 1 week. And we've not chemical stuff, we just use quantum dots. So quantum dots have got the Nobel Prize this year for the best technology. So I think it's quite interesting. But here, I wanted to talk a little bit about also what we do in the field of research and on food. So we'll talk later, but now I pass my mic to...
Is that good? So my name is Clayton Thomas. I'm the founder and CEO of the Root Brands, which is an algorithmic fintech ecosystem focused on the foundations of creating greatness. The initial basis of what we were built on is health and performance from the designs of Dr. Christina Rahm. So if you've been here for a little bit, you saw her speak. The premise of the entire ecosystem is built upon the fact that as a community, as 6.5+ billion people that are all connected within 5 to 6 generations of contacts, that commerce today is predicated on people. As Jessica Word mentioned a couple panels ago, that the most valuable asset that a company has are people. Every business on the planet should take heed to that, because the most valuable and only asset that every company has on this planet are people, and it's not just their employees, it's their customers. So if companies determine and decide to put their investments into the people that create value for them, I think we'll start to see this entire infrastructure begin to change. And this will provide some insight into this.
Yes. So I want to start saying that the time for Africa to rise as a phoenix from the ashes has come once again. It has been many times the opportunity for Africa to develop and to become an industrialized country and to be autosustainable. Opportunity has passed by the face of many African governments, many countries on the African continent, and many investors have lost the opportunity to get in and help to develop Africa. When I started my career in the banking industry, I started as a investment banker, and I could guarantee you all that every stock market in the world today are a mix of more than 50% of Africa essence to be listed on the stock market. If we do not have Africa, we do not have car rolling on the roads. We will not be having houses built on the height that we have it. And we will may not have so many things that is needed. So Africa commodities has been exported so many years to build many nations and to create industrialized country. Still, Africa have stayed flat. And this is the moment where not only Africans, not only investors, but the one who have love to nations to realize and accept that we cannot anymore have company, ONG, placing Africa kids out there with their nose running on bare feet on a red mud. We need to upstream Africa. I personally live in Dubai. I have a home in Germany. I have a home in Switzerland. I have a home in Panama. It's so exotic. It's nothing exotic. It's just the factor is I always look for leadership where my leading insider tells me, here you're settled. And for me, this is what I want to see for Africa. When I'm in Nigeria, we go out to eat, we go out to drink at the highest level of costs. When Africa comes to Dubai, when they come to Paris, when they come to Switzerland, everybody buy a Rolex. But they don't even realize that the material is coming from their home country. I have got friend who has gone to Saudi Arabia to Mecca and bought wash over there for $90,000. So now we're going to talk about food security. And while we talk about the sustainability of food security and how complex it is to create auto-sustainability and to be sexy as a market, we have to criticize some people in the change. We cannot impose government to understand the rule and the needs that they have to take up to make Africa not big again, as Donald Trump says, to make Africa rise, as we says, to let it look new and shine. And this is the invitation today. I am very sad that on the panel, we don't have anyone for Africa present. We are not going to criticize it. We are just going to say, here is the greatest opportunity for all of you all out here. If you're going to see this video at a later stage, or if you are here live, this is the opportunity to understand that the vast amount of lands in Africa could be worked together with investor, with the diaspora, to come in and create food consumption, industry in many different ways. I would like to start with Dr. Gabriel, who is working at the Vatican. I think one of the member organizations on planet Earth that future responsibility to humanity. And would like to know your vision about Africa. Being visited Africa, you say 25 times, but 25 different countries. What your vision and what you think could Africa do better to create auto-sustainability?
I believe Africa is a great continent. I'm deeply in love with Africa. Every time we go there, we work. There are so many things we learn, and there is so much that we can share. Africa has to, in my vision, I may be wrong, but it has to find their own way of doing things. Stop copycatting the Western civilization. The Western civilization has made so many mistakes, and we're paying for them right now. And we have to find resources in Africa because we depleted the land. The first document in the United States Parliament that talked about the depletion of the land, you know, it's 80 years old. So it's been 80 years, you know, and we haven't been able to make our land any better. This has happened all over Europe. So I think we have a technology. We have, you know, many times, like we went to Nigeria to develop our technology, and we had great results. But then, you know, we also need a little bit of security. We also need a little bit of sharing and to understand that Africa is so big. We see it on the maps, but it's really not what we see on the map. It's much bigger than that, and it's much more powerful and has much more resources. And if it just gives us a little bit of security, a little bit of, connection, a little bit between one country and the other, it will be just paradise. There is so much in there. And, I am the father of evolutionary biohacking. Many times when we're looking for new substances, that's where we go, and it's the same for many things. And I go crazy every time because I say everything is here. The people now, the new generation have been studying in Harvard, in the best schools around the world. You have the capability of building your own set of rules and doing, what you're supposed to do, take care of the land in a different way and, rise and do great things. And that's why we did the project Hit Africa. Hit malaria, I'm sorry, but Hit malaria, it's really about getting rid of a problem, and we develop it also in Nigeria. So things are possible to be done together, and you can benefit from it. We just have to stop talking so much. Like I was at COP28, I hear a lot of things, but then, we need to be on the ground and do things and have people really understand that, every time, somebody gets corrupt, every time you start a fight, every time, you start competing instead of helping each other, well, that's where, you become weaker. This is my idea. And I think, in food security, it's the same thing. It's not different. So I really believe we should help each other. And I think, no one better than you knows, how to do that.
As Dr. Gabriel has said, Africa has great potential. We look on the youth of Africa, which is more than 50% combined within all of the country. Just monetizing on the youth of Africa with a great education for all in agro-industry engineering. This is one of the most demanding study now on planet Earth. Still, we don't have university deploying this type of academic in Africa continent. And here, as Mr. Clayton is into food security because they export, they import, and they develop. You have been in Africa so many times and you have seen the opportunity. What do you think that the government could do to use the capacity and know-how from the youth to make them entrepreneur and make them proud in their home country and become self-independent?
This could get me in a lot of trouble. So from a youth standpoint, it's really interesting of what you bring up of understanding the importance of younger generations. What's really intriguing, that the conversations about 2030 and 2050, a lot of the people that are speaking on the subject matter of the influence that needs to take place by 2030 and 2050 aren't going to be here by 2050 and may not even be here in 2030. So understanding the importance of youth is really important, but I think the key to understand this, we do not have a food scarcity problem. We do not have a food security problem. As Malak was saying earlier when Dustin was talking with their panel, we live in a world of abundance. We create it spiritually, energetically, and physically of what we are. And the aspect of government influence on a population and providing opportunity, providing development, I don't think it's going to come from government. It's going to come from society itself. And my favorite author in her first book, one of the great insights was that each of us is an imperfect piece to a perfect puzzle. There's 8 billion pieces to this puzzle right now, and we are all part of this same ecosystem. So our engagement globally is what's really important. There was a comment made, I believe it was 2 years ago, that for $4 billion we could end global hunger. And Elon Musk came out and said, great, make it so it's trackable and it's open source and I'll fund it. So the issue is not a matter of investment, because you can't look at this issue as an investment opportunity or as a banking opportunity, because if it's done correctly, if all of us as society look at what Africa is, what it has been, how crucial it is for the development of every piece of technology, every piece of society on this planet. As you were hitting on, that the majority of the natural resources that are used for the development of virtually everything, a large percentage or a very important percentage comes from the continent. And the continent itself, if worked properly, has the ability to supply not just a region with what it needs for food or other components, but the entire planet. So with that aspect, the investment then doesn't need to be looked at as an opportunity to have a return on an investment for money invested, but a societal impact that is greater than any amount of money that can be put into the resource. We can apply the same thing to the ocean with what's going on with oceans, with the amount of phthalates, with the amount of radioactive isotopes that have been released from Japan into the Pacific Ocean and what that's done to the ecosystem. The ability to remediate the oceans in conjunction with air, water, and the rest of air, water, and soil are foundational to what we then address. And as we clean up society, as humans become cleaner and more functional and understanding our spiritual base, as well as our physical, psychological, and emotional base, we're then going to be able to solve problems, but it won't be done from a government standpoint. It's a societal issue.
I fully agree with you, and that was my point initially when I take off. I know government is obliged to take the law and regulations, and I work with government in many forms and ways. Like I does public-private partnership with governments. I done EPC plus F, which is engineering, procurement, construction plus financing, to avoid corruptions in government. On the other side, when we talk about not only Africa, we talk emerging market countries on itself. I'm saying in the industrialized country, when you have oceans, you shouldn't have food security. Why? Because you have water to do enough productions. Plus, you have the way to export and to import. But today we face the contrary. And as many times we have got the criticism when we have create. Many people have said, why does the Vatican support with some food? I know it's not your side to touch this, but we have got war going out throughout the world that had made food supply a lot more difficult. But we have new technology that could surplus those deficits. But today we are sit back 25 years back, and we talk about the one who are hungry. We have UNICEF running around saying, oh, pity Africa. And I am tired of it. I want to hear big Africa. And one of the reasons why in Dubai we don't talk diminutive. We don't make diminutive. And I have learned my people back home. I'm a Caribbean, Colombian, German. And I always say to people, don't send me comidita. Don't send me casita. Everybody put everything in a very small zero. And I always say Dubai in leadership, we say we have the tallest building. We have the biggest mall. We have the airport that open 24/7. Jealous? If you want to be jealous about us, kill us if you want to kill us with your tongue and your eyes. But you're going to see us in a big format. And this is what Africa all about. We say Africa have the big 5 animals. We have the elephant, the leopard, the lion. We have the giraffe. We have everything. But we don't have the big 5 in the mental set. Today, let's discuss the mental set. What could change Africa to bring surplus in consumption, to bring development in real estate? In Nigeria, you pay a house for $2,700,000 cash. There is money. Why don't we produce in Africa? What is missing today on this table?
Well, I want to address first regarding the Vatican. I think a lot has been done. I am at the Pontifical Academy of Science. We hold an event that is called the World Changer Summit, and we try, every time to have also people from all over the continents, and we try to share ideas on how to do a better job in developing country. But I wouldn't say developing country is, again, we're all developing country. Who is not a developing country? We're all trying to become better, and we're all trying to do our part in the world. Some more, some less, but the problem really is about sharing also knowledge. We have a Re-Youth project where we try to share knowledge, And my idea is, we have to come together and share the knowledge and share also our mistakes. My vision is like, you nailed it exactly when you say, you come from Africa, you made money, and then you come, and you buy a Rolex. And, it's the wrong idea, the money are not for buying Rolex. That can be also for buying Rolexes, but this is not the point. The point is, you want to be proud of what you're doing in your country, and it's knowledge. It's the knowledge you bring. It's the Rolex, all the physical part. It's just the part that we can trade. Yes, but the knowledge is really where Africa can make the big change. This is my idea.
Absolutely. And I think from the export part of food scientific, I have studied international trade, and I did my master in finance, and I have economy as basis as well. We see international trade getting harsher and harder every day. We had the greatest experience with COVID. We never expect to have or lockdown in such way. Where do you see the possibility, Clayton, to avoid such situation as a COVID? Plus, we have the situation with Argentina that went zero in productions because of wrong leadership. And now we have a great president trying to do something new. But we had a war, or we have a war in Ukraine that limited an exportation in commodities. How could we get across the ocean with enough products to avoid going into a crisis? I know it's complex, but let us say it this way. If Ukraine was the leading country in commodity along with Argentina, and they overcrossed the crisis, both of them, what do you think could be the next platform for us to have storage and inventory to export?
Well, the opportunity in Africa to be able to grow crops, as Gilles was talking about from net oil, just from a hemp standpoint of what hemp can create, it's interesting because the conversations that go on down the street in the forum where they're talking about CO2 emissions, the hemp project of being able to grow industrial hemp in Africa and different areas solves the CO2 problem along with all the trees that are already on the planet. So that conversation's over, right? So then when you look at the aspect of food, right, and Africa being the continent that it is, right, of, as Dr. Gabriel was touching on, the vast amount of size of the continent and different regional aspects of opportunities in agriculture, right? You can grow virtually everything from a produce standpoint, from an animal perspective and a produce perspective. You have the opportunity to create abundance that can be shared globally. So as we have different conflicts that all come down to greed, right? This is the problem. It's greed, fear, and control. If we remove those, we live in a planet of abundance. We don't need fear, right? Fear is a control mechanism because when you understand the biology of fear and what it does for cortisol levels and keeping you in a fight or flight response, it destroys your health. It makes you docile and controllable. If you remove those and you begin to understand that we internally, if we take care of ourselves, which is the most important environment to take care of first, the only environment that we are responsible for is our own personal environment. When we start to clean up their personal environment, then we are going to become more resonant. And one of the things that COVID taught us, that the lesson was within, is that we are all connected. We are all a large social network. Yeah. And there was an attempt and a lesson to show us that if we disconnect the network, what can happen. And I think we learned a lot from COVID in many aspects, not from a scientific perspective, from virology and such, but understanding that from a societal standpoint, if you disconnect us, if you take away our ability to be interpersonal and communicate this way, energetically, all of our cells communicate. This communication, these conversations, everything that's going on over the last week is connecting us. And the conversations that we have actually creates an opportunity for our cells to communicate and become better and learn and adapt. And through this adaptation, if we do this globally, if we open up and we understand that we are designed to be open source, right? And that there is abundant opportunity for all of us. Capitalism will grow exponentially. So returns for the companies that look to collaborate and look to create value for society, because the more value you create, the more abundance there is, which means money is going to continue to flow and everybody wins.
Yeah. Thank you, Clayton. We have just now that we came to an end. I just want to put it in one context to all of you. As a non-African, my grandmother always say, all of us in the Caribbean belong to somewhere up there. So we have it in our blood. And I will invite everyone, no matter what your background are, the heritage in Africa is immense and the diaspora is everywhere. I celebrate all of the time to diaspora, the Lebanese and the Ethiopian. They always go back to their home country and do something. And this is the message here today. If you could impulse anyone beside you being a diaspora and come along, every government is open to listen to the new proposal. And I'm quite sure every continent in Africa, including Nigeria, the focus we had today, to uplift their country when they find proposals that are going to create growth out of sustainability and vision for the future. I welcome you all to Africa. I'm there very often, and I think you all should go there. There's a lot of opportunity. See Africa with your own eyes and live it with your own heart. That's my message. Thank you, guys. Thank you for having us.
Thank you.